let's move on to let's talk to Cameron in Minnesota. Cameron, it sounds like you want to talk about um, your best friend who named you the godfather of their baby, and they think that you are a
Yep.
believer. So that sounds like a rough situation. Can you tell us more about that?
Okay, so like literally, I'm not even shitting you. Like before you, or like just as you guys started the show, I got a knock on the door, and he showed up, and he's got his brand new like 2 day old little baby boy, and we're doing the whole oh he's so cute, he's everything, and then he kind of pulls me aside and he's like, hey, we're having a get together with the family and everything. He's like, I'd like to make you the godfather of my child, or basically, because he's not my actual brother, but like it's same situation, and like he knows that I'm an atheist, but like he doesn't acknowledge that I'm an atheist. He's like, I mean, he's like, you really believe, like everybody really believes, like God the Father has written himself on everybody's heart, and he's like, but they're having like a big family get together in a couple days for the baby's birth or first birthday or whatever you want to call it, and like he's like, you being the Godfather, would you say something or stand up and say something, and then like if anything ever happens to us, would you be the one to take care of them and all that? And I just wanted, like, I don't know how to like get it across to him that yes, I'm willing to do those things for the child, absolutely, no questions asked, but like that he accepts the fact that I am a non-believer, and he just doesn't want to like accept that. And like he's told his whole family that I'm gonna be the godfather, and like he hasn't even mentioned to anyone or any like that I keep saying that I don't believe, but he keeps saying that I do. It's just a really weird situation to be in.
Okay.
How do you feel about being the godfather of this child? Because I think that's a very important consideration to take into account when you're thinking about this
Well,
decision.
he's like my best friend, and I like basically if it's in the situation of like if something were to happen to the parents and I were to take care of the child, absolutely, absolutely, I would do it. In a heartbeat. It's just the fact that they're portraying to the rest of their family that I'm like they're the god like like the the god uncle, I guess, and like they don't tell their family that I am a non-religious person, that I'm an atheist. And even though we're like really, really close friends, he still is one of those type of believers who's like, you really believe, you really do. But yet somehow, some way, we're still like best friends.
It happens. I mean, we got our children christened, and my wife used to be a Catholic. She isn't anymore. And she wanted to christen our children, and we went along to see the Catholic priest. And my best friend, the guy who was my best man at my wedding, is a Muslim. And he was one of the people we wanted to be one of the godparents to our children. Because, like you say, he was a good friend. The fact that he's a Muslim is completely irrelevant to me. He's a really nice guy. I trust him with my life, and I trust him to kind of bring up my children in my stead if anything ever happens to me and my wife. And we went to see the Catholic priest, and we had a slightly different kind of situation where the Catholic, we said, we've got two godparents in mind. One is a Muslim, one is a lesbian, and the Catholic priest just turned around and said, absolutely not. Pretty much in those words. It's one of those things.
You guys walk into a bar kind of joke, like that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, these things happen. These things happen, and I think it's testament to your friendship. that you are such good friends, and it's going to have his opinions. My Muslim friend's got opinions about me. I'm sure he thinks that I'll be going to hell, and I should really repent and take shahada and all that and become a Muslim. It's not going to happen. He knows it's never going to happen. It's kind of something we leave unspoken. I think the friendship part of this is the most important part, and
Well,
how
see, here's the
comfortable
thing: is like
you are.
I'm supposed to stand up and like when they have the family thing this next weekend here, I'm supposed to like say something, and like they all think that being as their family is so religious, and he appointed me, quote unquote, the Godfather. I'm supposed to basically, for lack of a better term, give like a mini sermon about
Well,
something. I don't even
well,
know.
here's what you can. Is there a way that you could talk about something that you all basically agree on? Is there a way to keep it not explicitly religious, but talk about um like core values that might overlap, like talking about being a good role model for this kid and um being a person of integrity, a person that is reliable, all these kind of things. Like, could you
Y-
make the talk something that,
I
like,
could,
sure, their family might interpret that as you being
but
a
like
religious role model,
part
but
of them, like most of their family would probably buy that. But his mom, basically, if I don't mention God, there's gonna be problems.
well, so that's unfortunately, if that's the way it's gonna go, you're gonna have to make a decision for yourself there, and part of it's gonna come down to, do
Like,
you want them to know you're an atheist? It sounds like that you're the father of the baby, like, wants you to be the godfather regardless. Like, they want this decision to be had. So, does their family's perception of you, um, like, how much does that matter to you? And this is something that I can
I
more
don't care
relate
how
to.
they see me. Like, I'm like, if I need to pretend to be a theist, you're damn right. I'm gonna pretend to be a theist. I'm just trying to figure out how to like kind of Tokyo drift around it, you know?
Well, so no,
That was my next question to you. Was
yeah,
was are you willing to kind of
yeah.
just pretend for the sake of the ceremony? Because there undoubtedly will be, parts of the ceremony where you're called to like protect the child under God's name and all that kind of stuff. And you will
And it's the whole baptism and
inevitably have to lie. If
Yeah.
you're comfortable with doing that, and that I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. If you're comfortable and if you're happy with the whole arrangement, and you seem to be pretty good friends
because
with this guy.
the parents know where I stand. It's basically, being as we're such close friends, it's mostly just like appeasing my friend's mom, and like, but the thing is like there has to be like a whole baptism thing, and like me mentioning, God,
Yeah, so this again
whatever
is
it
going to
is
be
they.
this is going to be up to you, and neither one of us can make that decision for you. Like, at best we can help give our thoughts, and you can, like, maybe that'll push you in one way or another. But like, while I'm not anybody's godparent or um I deal with this a lot in being trans. I have pretty much every area of my life I have to question whether or not I want to be out to somebody, and oftentimes I'm not. So I do relate to you in that sometimes you do have to lie to people for your safety and for what you're comfortable with. And other situations, I'm okay being more open. So some cases I'm happy to uh, let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. But that's a decision that, even when I'm talking to people about coming out to their family as trans or as gay or as an atheist or whatever, it's that same kind of thing. Like, I cannot tell you and would not ever tell you what you should do, because that's ultimately a decision that you're going to have to make, that you're going to have to face the consequences of. And I can tell you what I would
So
do,
I should.
but that's it's up
Oh,
to you.
sorry.
It
Go
is
ahead.
it is totally up to you. And what are you willing to risk in this? What relationships are you willing to potentially lose, unfortunately?
So
But I can't make that
hear me out
decision
in this one.
for you.
So like my plan, and granted this is only like 2 hours old, but my plan was like, I'm gonna try to talk about like secular humanist values, but without saying, secular humanist, just
Right.
just
Yeah, and that was kind of going back to what I said
kind of
earlier, but
roll with
something
it.
I want to caution you about something here really quickly, and that is the fact that this news is so recent. Like you said, it's only a couple hours old. So your fight or flight responses are probably kicking in full gear right now. So I think maybe like it's great to process this, and I'm happy that you're processing this with other people and not just letting your own brain take over with it. But I do think it might take time to really come to terms with what does this look like for me? What action am I going to take? What risks am I willing to take for this? And you might need to let yourself calm down a little bit and then revisit this idea. Like sleep on it, and maybe in the morning you'll feel differently about this whole thing. But I think it's absolutely
Yeah,
great that you're talking about it and that you're willing to talk about it. But like, don't jump to an absolute. This is what I'm going to do this early.
yeah,
I
because
think
like
maybe take some time
when
with
you
it.
said that, you literally just made me think of like, well, what if they find out later on that I wasn't an actual believer if I lie about it? And like you actually just like you made you gave me a head explosion there for a second. So yeah, you're right.
You've got. I think you've got plenty of time. Don't know when they're planning on having the christening, but if the child's only a few hours old now, I think you've got plenty of
Well,
time to kind of
no, it's just two
process
days
this.
old, but like I just met the child like an hour or two ago.
Right, yeah.
But
I
yeah,
think
I
you've
get
got
what you're
plenty of
saying.
time to process this information, and you sound like you've been having a pretty good think about it already. Which given that, it sounds like you've got your head screwed on, as we would say in good old Blighty. And I can't. Why can't I do an English accent? I'm pretty sure I can't even do an English accent. It sounds like you've been thinking about it. You go in the right direction with your thought processes, and ultimately, as Ben says, it's your choice. But you're gonna have plenty of time to think about this, and get your thoughts together, gather your thoughts,
Yeah,
and
and
but I'm sure you'll be fine. You'll be a brilliant godfather by the sounds of it, which whatever you choose to do.
yeah, it sounds like you care a lot, and
Maybe I can get
it's
a cool
great.
little mustache.
Yeah, but something else that I mentioned this probably at least once a show, and no, they are not sponsoring me or anything. But if you need more people to talk to about this, Recovering from Religion is great for situations like this. They have people that are trained volunteers that are going to be more able to talk you through this situation. Should you have more issues that arise or more questions that you have, somebody can talk you through all of that. So, highly recommend if you think about this some more and still have some questions or need to process this verbally, I highly recommend giving them a call. So,
Yeah. I've recommended a ton of people to the RFR before, and like it's actually some of my other friends like RFR has actually helped them like stop themselves from doing, well, let's just say doing really bad things to themselves. And like, yeah, RFR is a great resource.
absolutely. Well, any kind of final thoughts? We're
But
right up against the end of the show, but it's been a
oh
great
yeah,
chatting with you, and I hope that everything works out.
I guess just play video games. They're awesome.
All right. Well, I hope you can relax a little bit and have a better rest of your Sunday. And I'm excited for you and what's coming with being a godfather. That sounds like you have a great relationship with your friend, and I hope that everything turns out to be less scary than it might seem in the moment.